Hello, I'm David Sears. I'm a Senior Vice President for Advancement and Community Engagement at Montgomery College. Thank you for joining us today for our Workforce of Tomorrow series, where you can hear from experts about our county and state's current and future workforce needs. In my role at the college, I have co-oversight of PIC MC, the Pinckney Innovation Complex for Science and Technology. This is a life sciences and tech hub, and it's the result of a partnership with Montgomery County to spur job growth by bringing employers to the county. Employers that locate in PIC MC are eager to hire our local talent, as well as partner with other tenants and the faculty on our campus. And that's what makes us unique, what makes PIC MC really unique. This is where job growth and talent development happen together, given its location on a community college campus. As you know, the pandemic has exacerbated changes in our local and global economy. The economic toll has left many people out of work or at risk. While many of the jobs lost won't return, some industries like life sciences and health sciences need to fill open positions. As we think about bringing more employers and jobs to Montgomery County, how can we ensure residents get access to those jobs? What are future jobs that we should expect? And what kind of talent do employers need now and in the future? Today, it's my pleasure to welcome three guests who will help us think through these big questions. First is Angela Graham, President and CEO of Quality Biological Incorporated, a biotech company founded right here in Montgomery County. She's also a member of our PIC MC board. We're also joined by another industry leader, Annice Cody, President of Holy Cross Health Network. Of course, Holy Cross is a leading employer in our county and is the anchor tenant and partner for PIC MC. And I'm delighted to have Brad Stewart, Senior Vice President of Business Development for Montgomery County's Economic Development Corporation, who can offer his data insights. MCEDC is charged with driving economic growth in the county to help attract and retain employers. So welcome to all of you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
So our first question today, and I'll provide a little bit of context to it, is what are today's unfilled jobs in Montgomery County, and how are those jobs being filled? So let's dive in. While the federal government is a large employer in the county, Montgomery's economy has diversified over the last 20 years. But as a key workforce provider, the college is attuned to the new jobs on the horizon, like the quantum tech field, as well as the chronic skill gaps like those in cybersecurity, which has thousands of positions open across our state. So employers are looking for workers who are ready to step into new jobs as they grow, as well as existing open positions. So let's start with you, Brad. Can you help us to understand where today's unfilled jobs are in Montgomery County and also in the region?
Yeah, well, thanks, Dave. I appreciate it, and thank you for having us here. Obviously, there are a lot of jobs that are available everywhere in the country, and we have the same sort of problem. There's jobs in the hospitality sector, whether it's in hotels or restaurants, that are sort of widely available throughout the country, delivery and other things like that, retail. But here, some of the biggest challenges we have are really within the life sciences industry, the technology fields, and skilled labor, trades. People are doing construction, whether they're electrical or other types of skilled trades. And as most other parts of the country, there's a definite need for people in the healthcare space also.
Great. And a few follow-up questions for you, Brad. Would you talk about Montgomery County's unemployment rate and what are the skills gap affecting this rate?
Yeah, we're lucky in many ways here in Montgomery County. Our unemployment rate right now is about 5.6%. At the peak of the pandemic, it only went up to 8.6%, which is a lot, but it's compared to the rest of the country was quite small. Part of that's due to the fact that immediately before the pandemic, our unemployment rate was at 2.8%, which is almost unsustainably low. That just means there's not enough people available looking for work. Every job is filled, every employee has got a job. So for us right now, it really is trying to match appropriate skills to the appropriate jobs that are out there. I mentioned some of the obvious ones, like most people have in hospitality and healthcare and retail. But there are a tremendous number of jobs available, particularly in the life sciences space and technology spaces. Some of those in technology can be intermediately skilled to very highly skilled, people who are familiar with coding, cybersecurity. We have a large gap here in the region with people with security clearances, which is a tremendous demand that's been increasing significantly over the past 2 years. On the life sciences front, we have a huge expansion here of the life sciences industry that was already looking for talent. And those jobs are much more diverse than people expect they are. Frequently, they're types of jobs that people can have with sometimes certifications, sometimes associate's degrees, sometimes bachelor's degrees. They're not all PhD level scientists working in a lab. So we've been an incredibly good partner with Montgomery College in helping develop some of the talent for these life sciences jobs.
Great. Thank you. And then, Brad, what is the role of the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation in this space?
Well, our first role is trying to make sure that we have jobs available here for people. So whether it's helping to make sure the companies that are here grow, to make sure when they grow here in Montgomery County and not somewhere else. But it also is attracting companies here to Montgomery County from other parts of the state, of the region, the nation, and much more so on a global perspective. We have a large number of global companies that are choosing to make Montgomery County their headquarters. And for us, it's really trying to work with our partners like Montgomery College to make sure there's a clear understanding of what those companies need from a workforce perspective and what Montgomery College is able to deliver to them.
Great. Thank you, Brad. Let's move on to our second question, which is, what is the impact of skills gaps on employers? While the pandemic has significantly hurt some industries like hospitality and childcare, others are growing exponentially. The county has strong tech, biotechnology, health sciences, and other industry sectors. That's why Montgomery College prepares students to become future cyber analysts, bench workers, nurses, and more. So my next question's for you, Angela. Tell us about what's going on in your company. Give us the view from where you sit as an employer.
Oh, well, thank you, Dave, again, for asking me to join in this conversation. Yes, it's actually a very busy time within our biotech economy here in the county, and specifically for Quality Biological. We support the manufacturing requirements for a lot of the research going on, and even the COVID vaccines that are being utilized today. So my company, we manufacture the reagents, and a lot of reagents used in R&D as well as manufacturing. So we do large-scale bioprocessing and further manufacturing. So this requires us to have a skilled workforce, but from a manufacturing perspective. So again, as Brad was saying a few moments ago, not every position in life sciences requires a PhD. We actually have a larger manufacturing force, so requiring not only bachelor's degree, but some positions that are just a certificate would be sufficient, and or a high school degree, because we do a lot of training of the individuals that we need. And I think that's the key. It's the ongoing training. It's the constant need to stay current with new technologies that come out, and oftentimes that means additional certifications. And that's why we've partnered with Montgomery College and universities of Shady Grove to work with how do we take people who are not in the industry and give them skill sets that would prepare them to move into the industry, as well as further educating those employees that we have that need to continue to refresh their training. And I think that is really what is needed, and what we as the companies in the industry see in this space now is the opportunity and the need for further training, so that there is constantly this upgrading of skills that are needed as we evolve within the industry.
That's great. Thank you, Angela. Our third question is, how do Montgomery County's growth and changes play into determining talent needs and jobs of tomorrow? Just like the county has grown, Holy Cross has expanded its operations to bring more healthcare options to residents, particularly in the Up-County area with Holy Cross Germantown Hospital, located in PIC MC at our Germantown campus. That means more doctors, nurses, surgical techs, radiation techs, phlebotomists, and more are needed. So local talent development, in addition to opening doors for residents, enables employers to reflect the communities they serve. And we all know the wonderful tapestry that is our community. Montgomery College alone illustrates this, with students hailing from more than 155 nations, and our student body is now 78% students of color. So this question goes to Annice. Given Holy Cross's location at PIC MC, clearly your institution values access to local talent. So in regard to healthcare, Annice, help us to understand how Holy Cross thinks about filling out its workforce across its locations, And what do you see as a workforce challenge for your industry sector or the county in general?
Thanks, Dave. So in terms of challenge, the demand for healthcare jobs, as Brad mentioned, just keeps growing. And I think it's really driven by three primary factors. The first is the aging of our population. As more and more people a higher percentage of our population is over the age 65. Those are folks who need more healthcare services. So that's a push for more demand. And then, as Angela knows, that improving technology really allows us to expand our capabilities. So we can expand what we can do in diagnostics and treatment. And that expands the need for additional workers. And finally, the pandemic really opened up the recognition of the field of public health and the important role that it plays in disease surveillance, infection control, but also in things like recognizing how social factors like food and housing and education can affect people's health and trying to integrate healthcare delivery with those issues. So in terms of Holy Cross specifically, we have about 4,000 employees. And like all health systems in the area, we are always looking for new talent. There are three important things that I think about when we're looking for new talent. The first, as you said, that hiring local talent is really important, not just because it's the most accessible, but studies show, and our experience plays out, that we are most effective in building trust with our patients when our workforce reflects the diversity of the community. In addition, when we build talent and hire locally, we support economic development, and that enhances the well-being of our community as a whole, which is an important part of our mission as well. We also see, like the others, that there are so many different types of skills that are needed in healthcare systems. Some are obvious, like clinical skills, but there are many jobs that require technical skills, like working in the pharmacy or the lab, and many more people who work in more traditional business skills in IT or finance or human resources. So we need all of those different skills to make our health systems work. And then finally, in addition to a broad range of skills, the amount of training that's necessary does vary tremendously. There are some positions, like a physician, that requires many years of school. But we have a lot of positions, such as a certified nurse assistant or a pharmacy tech or a certified medical assistant, that students can receive their certification in a much shorter course of study. So it's a huge range that's available.
That's great. Thank you, Annice. And our fourth question is actually for each of you. As we think about bringing more jobs to Montgomery County, how can we ensure residents get access to those jobs? So Montgomery County, like almost all regions, is focused on economic development. And we've talked about current employers and their workforce needs. Brad helped us think about job growth for the county to help our community thrive economically. As a member of the PIC MC board, Angela helped the college's work to recruit employers to locate here on MC's Germantown campus, bringing more jobs to our community. And as Annice just discussed, Holy Cross brings more jobs as it's expanding its services. So for all of you, and I'll start with Brad, I'd like to ask your thoughts on this question. How do we continue to create strong linkages between job and talent growth? Is building homegrown talent to close skill gaps and fill new jobs a key to a thriving economy and community? So Brad, we'll start with you.
Dave, absolutely it is. I think one of the things that we really need to do is continue to build partnerships between the companies that are here looking for employees in our educational system and the community. As I mentioned before, if you look at the life sciences industry, and Angela talked about the diversity of types of jobs that are there, we have a huge booming, what we call advanced biomanufacturing space here in life sciences, where there are hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs that are becoming available over the next year or two in people manufacturing cell therapies, gene therapies, a variety of other things like that. And the types of skill sets that are necessary are diverse, as is the workforce. And a lot of times people just aren't aware of what these types of jobs are, or the fact that they could go to Montgomery College and get some of the best training in the country to work in these very rewarding, very high-paying jobs. So I think it's really those two things. It's how do we make sure that the employers have a good dialogue with the educational institutions so that they know what their needs are and can help fill them. And it's really how do we reach out to our community and talk to the people in the community and let them know that there are jobs available that are very fulfilling, very rewarding, and don't always require intimidating amounts of education to be successful at.
That's great. Angela, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. And, it's interesting. I think that success will be, it is a lot of years of education, but I think I would tweak a little bit, Brad, of what you said. It may not be 4 consecutive years for one degree. I think that where we're moving to as a whole in most of our industry, or many of the industries that we're talking about, it's this consistent need to constantly upgrade your skills, because as technology changes so rapidly, what you may be certified to do for the first couple of years, next thing, technology, everything is advanced, so then you need new skills. So what we're actually seeing is very much like in the cybersecurity space. If you go to, you might often need, it's like all these, I guess you would consider stackable credentials, so that you continue to evolve and grow. And I think that if we do a better job or linking, not only from, we talk often about people that are already in this space or industries, but starting at the high school level and start partnering there to make sure that individuals in our community understand what all the opportunities are, whether they want to come out of high school and immediately go into a 4-year degree that maybe they're very passionate about, or they want to explore some different careers or different technologies that they can eventually decide what they want to do. I think the key is that we are a community that has opportunities for everyone. So coming out with different certifications and consistently improving upon those skill sets to then be able to move into different, skill levels or within a company to really explore the different industries. And I think that will be not only great for the community, but it will have a workforce that will then attract more companies to come here.
And Dave, if I can add to that, I think Angela made an important point of this education doesn't have to be, linear in the way that we typically think about it. It's interesting. I was having a conversation last week with an employer that's going to be looking for hundreds of new employees over the next couple of years. And I had the same discussion. So what type of people do you need? What types of skill sets? And they remarked that one of the biggest potential pools they see are veterans. And I asked, what types of jobs in the military are really the ones that you find helpful? This was a life sciences company looking for employees. And interestingly, it wasn't just the medical field that you might think of. It was people who worked in some medical support, radiology, but they were talking about people who worked in the nuclear fields, who were managing armaments and other things like that, where they had very high levels of control necessary to do their jobs and a lot of precision in the work they were doing, which translates very well to the type of work that's being done in life sciences. I mean, it's a very highly regulated industry where you want people who can do things reproducibly time after time. So I think it's these types of dialogues where people say, well, wait a minute, that's me. And maybe that's something I should consider, because there really are, I think, some unique opportunities becoming available for people.
Agreed. Annice, other thoughts you have?
Yeah, just to build on what Brad was saying, I recently was listening to a podcast where I heard Arne Duncan, who was a former U.S. Secretary of Education under President Obama, talking about the importance of bringing opportunity to where talent is, rather than limiting opportunity to those who are well positioned to take advantage of it. So it made me think of it when Brad was talking about, going after specific groups like veterans, because they're a talented population, but the need is to bring the opportunities to them. And I'd say our relationship with Montgomery College has been really important in helping to bring opportunities to students. One of the ways we do that is by offering clinical rotations and other on-site learning opportunities in our hospitals and our ambulatory sites. And what that does, it's a great way to help students gain real-world experience that's related to what they're learning and really enriches what they're learning. And it helps them to be better prepared to hit the ground running when they finish their studies and can start a new job. So that's one important thing that Montgomery College does. And they also do this through a variety of outreach programs, like their partnership with the Montgomery County Public Schools and the community engagement centers and workforce development programs, all of which are really important for casting that broad net to attract and then develop that talent.
Great. Thank you, Annice. So in closing, I just want to say thank you to Angela Graham, Annice Cody, and Brad Stewart. Thank you for sharing your insights today. You've helped us to think critically about jobs and the needs of current and future employers. And importantly, you've helped us to think about the linkage between talent development and job growth. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and your time today. And before we go, I'm going to start with Angela. Any closing thoughts from you?
Dave, I'd just like to, again, thank you for having me on this. And I also want to thank Montgomery College for the partnerships that you are already doing with the community, and encourage you to continue to do so. It's been, I think one thing that we haven't discussed that I'd like to, again, say thank you to Montgomery College for is that the work that you already do with existing companies with workforce development, but is also training our current employees, right, to continue to grow them. And it's always been very helpful and supportive, because anytime we've needed any sort of training, all I need to do is pick up the phone. And your staff is always very good about helping us design curriculum that's supportive of what we need.
Thank you. Annice, any closing thoughts?
Just again, thanks for the opportunity to talk about healthcare, and we're always looking for talented folks from the community, and building that strong community base is important. So any opportunity to talk about the how we can do that, and in partnership with Montgomery College, always happy to do so.
Thank you. And Brad, any closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, well, Dave, I'd like to thank you and Montgomery College for being such a great partner, not only to the people who live here in Montgomery County, but the employers here in Montgomery County. And I think Angela and Annice both said it. It's not just helping to bring people into the workforce. It's really a great place to go to help develop employees. And I think that's one of the things we all want to do, is how do we keep moving people along in their careers and help enable their success. And Montgomery College is a great partner in doing that.
Great. Well, thank you again to the three of you, and thank you all for joining us today for our Workforce of Tomorrow series. Take care.